Okay, this is the Real Guardian. Say really quick thank you for getting us to round 130 since the last I looked on subs, and then Naruto What If almost first part being almost at 1,000. Now, a quick announcement by the 100th sub, which I will start writing and producing on Tuesday since that will be the official end of my break. I will be announcing once I release the video what I plan to do on Patreon and how I want to use that. Finally, thank you so much for the support. And let's get this started. Here comes part 3 of What If Deku Was a Driver from Xenoblade 2. Now we cut back to the day that Izuku was at the Quark doctor. And right after they had left, the doctor had made a phone call. As the man on the other end of the phone call picks it up and answers, then asks, "What's wrong? You never call me like this." Them saying, "Sir, I've had a quirk I could not steal." Then responding with, "That's very interesting, my friend. So may I know what type of quirk it is?" Then the doctor said, "Well, it's dormant, so I really don't know. When I tried to steal it, not only did it fight back, but it nearly annihilated me. It was like fighting over 46 plus different people." The man on the other end saying, "That is beyond amazing. So I want to know, who is this quirk attached to?" With the doctor responding, "A young boy by the name of Izuka Midoriya." The man on the other end saying, "Ah, I see. He's related to him." As he then laughs, "I'm going to enjoy this. I'll wait for now. I am curious on what will happen to that power of this boy." Sorry about sniffling. As we cut back to the present time, to Izuku being woken up by seeing his mom grinning while taking pictures. At first he didn't know why, then he realizes that Pyre was cuddling his back. He then gives his mom a death glare, causing her to pop out of the room quickly. As he then carefully got up not to wake Pyre, he then stroked her hair and kissed her forehead. He then went down to the kitchen while his mom was trying to whistle it off as Izuku just stood there tapping his foot. With her finally saying, "All right, I'm sorry, I should have not taken those pictures." Izuku then telling her, "That's what I wanted to hear. After all, we got all the time in the future for that. Plus, you didn't even get Pyre's consent for it. Also, we're going to UA today. They even gave me the whole day off of school for just this." Then Pyre walks in really groggy. Well, still her PJs, even though there was some skin showing, with it being in a more disheveled state, causing Izuku to get a nosebleed. He then looked away, causing Iko to laugh, then saying, "All right, Pyre, come with me. You need to wear some better clothes since it's about time you go with Izuku. And you, Izuku, go grab a paper towel from the kitchen." We get to them about to leave as Izuku's in a t-shirt he usually wears, with his usual short jean pants and typical red shoes. With Pyre coming out to the doorway, wearing a t-shirt and a pair of short pants with combat boots. Izuku, blushing alone, said, "You look really good in normal clothes as usual, Pyre." Sorry. With her saying, "Thanks, Izuku. So when do you think Izawa's going to be here?" Just then the doorbell rang. When they open, they see Izawa with Nezu. And Nezu speaks up. "Before we go, I need to discuss something with you and your mother." As they, with both of you and your mother, sorry. As they both nod, they call Inko and they let them in. They're now sitting at the table with Nezu thanking Inko for the tea as he sips it. He then says, "All right, we have discussed this with your school, Izuku. For the next 2 months, you will have your education there at UA." With Pyre and Izuku giving a shocked look and then Inko spitting out some tea. With Zawa then saying, "It's because I want Izuku to get as much training as possible with me and other heroes, since Squirk has so much potential and he does as well." The staff at UA already knows about Izuku Quirk and Pyra. Now we need to explain what your fake quirks are and Pyra's fake backstory. As that Izuku and Pyra give a puzzle look with Nezu chiming in. "Well, you see, there's never been a quirk that lets you have another human being. And since we're worried villains might want to harm you or try to make you use that power for their own gain, now that you're getting more involved with heroes, it shall be done for safety purposes. Plus, it's also so we can keep a close eye on you, Izuku." As Inko says in a worried tone, "So what's going on with Izuku that needs this?" Za's saying, "It seems like Izuku's quirk is starting to become less dormant again. I noticed our last sparring session that Izuku's crystal on the purple side, when he got frustrated, was almost glowing as bright as his side that Pyre's power comes from, the green. Zuko thought to himself, I notice whenever I have more negative emotions, but some positive, sorry, it causes that side to get stronger. So this is the dark side of the crystal, he thought about. Then he shook his own head, still thinking to himself, I really don't know what's going on with it right now, but I don't want to. Then Nezu spoke up. So, when you're asked by students or anyone not from the UA staff, your quirks are such. Yours, Izuku, is the Flaming Blade. You tell them it allows you to use fire and make a blade with it, usually on your back. Now, with Miss Pyra, yours is Ether Flame. You supply someone who's who is compatible with your energy to boost their own. And you have command over fire. That is what you'll be saying. Is this acceptable to you both? They both nod. Volley Pyra then speaks up. So why is my name on my card Pyra Infernus? Again, sorry. And this backstory I need to hear. Then Nezu said, I had given you that last time to keep up with the fire thing. As he sips tea with a light chuckle. And Aizawa says, your backstory, if anyone asks you, is that you're from a different country and a friend of mine is asked to help train you so that you can be better safe. So you are not here to be a hero. No. With that, Pyra says, okay. Aizawa and Nezu then turn to Inko and say, Mrs. Midori, I want to ensure you as long as Izuku's in UA, he is safe. We would all die before letting harm come to our students. So please be rest assured with this. With her nodding. Then Nezu says, shall we go? Shall we all go? Sorry. They all get up and walk outside to see a limo for some reason. Then they arrive at the UA gates, and class is already in session. As Aizawa then gets out of the limo saying, so Izuku, we're to show some hero students how to act. Izuku saying, if that's your order, Sensei. With him smiling, saying no. But it's nice to know I have respect. As they enter UA, Nezu then tells them, if you're having any trouble at all, come to him immediately. They both nod as Aizawa then tells them, you will meet my class. This year I'm teaching third year, so go easy on them, you two. As he grins. Now we cut to the classroom with them actually talking and goofing off since Aizawa's not there yet, and Mike's just having fun with them. But just then the door flies open, with all of them getting quiet because Aizawa's is even giving Mike the death glare, with him sweating bullets, and he then just runs out without even noticing Izuku or Pyra as he's writing a tear. Just as the class immediately sat right up in their seats and gave Aizawa their full attention. With Aizawa then saying, so you waste time since I was gone, huh? With him giving another death glare, causing everyone just to sweat bullets. He then sorry. As Aizawa said, I told you yesterday, I am having some of my students I've been teaching going to be taught at UA for the next 2 months. After that, the class was buzzing with light whispers, but others decided to keep quiet because it was Aizawa. As then Aizawa says, alright, come in, with Pyra walking in, causing all the boys in the class to blush and all the girls to be in shock, because it was like a living goddess had walked into the room. Aizawa slamming his book on the podium to get their attention. They then look at Aizawa saying, now, introduce yourself, Pyra. Introduce yourself. Pyra then said, hello there, my name is Pyra Infernus. I hope we get along for the next 2 months. As she bows and smiles, causing everyone to think, I get to go to school with a goddess for the next 2 months? This is awesome. Then Aizawa says, come on in. It's on in. Then Izuku walked in. They all thought, wait, what is a 4-year-old boy doing here? But all the girls screamed internally on how adorable he was. And the guys just turned their heads to stare at Pyra again. Now, when this happens, Izuku targets a particular blonde-haired boy that seems to be the leader of most of the guys in the class by his posture and demeanor and attitude. Apologies. And he's perving on Pyra harder than the rest. That is the other reason he's getting targeted. He looks back at Aizawa with his killing intent completely obvious, with Aizawa just nodding back at him. Apologies. Before anyone could react to Izuku, before anyone could act, Izuku jumped up, landing on this kid's desk, grabbing him and throwing him from his seat to the ground, then shoving Pyro's blade and slamming it right down next to his neck, causing everyone in the classroom to panic and fear because this kid did that in a matter of seconds. Then is giving a death look to everyone, saying, whether they be boy or girl, if you perv on Pyro, I'll burn your face off. If that does not work, I can always go lower. He then sees everyone's in fear of him, shaking in their seats. He then said, my name is Izuku Midoriya, and I hope we get along. With him giving this huge smile that caused everyone to go, yeah, don't mess with him. But the girls also think it's so cute and heroic that he's protecting Pyro. Them even saying in their heads that he's going to be a good man for someone one day. Apologies again, sorry. As then Aizawa is seen bursting out in laughter, then saying, well, that was quite the introduction, but I did train you after all, with some help. The rest of the class was in shock because this was the first time they had ever seen Aizawa have any emotion to them, and it kind of freaked them out. And Suzuka said, well, does. He also laughed. And then he got told to take his seat, as he has to start instructing the class. Now he has been instructing the class, and Aizawa just wrote down a math problem on the board with him saying, so does everyone know the solution? So this is going to be your next test from ectoplasm. With everyone in the classroom scratching their heads. But just then, both Izuku and Pyro walk up. They start to split up the problem and solve it together, with Izuku finishing it by saying the answer should be 5.6, right? Again, sorry, I have a bit of cold with some stuffles. The answer should be 5.6, right? With Aizawa just saying correct, as expected of my trainees, with Aizawa nodding. Now, he has been teaching both Pyro and Izuku during their breaks of training, and Izuku at least has a third year middle school level already at this point, and Pyro's already a third year high school student when it comes to knowledge. They then sit back down with everyone completely shocked again, not believing this, since it's one of the harder math problems from ectoplasm, and they just solved it with such ease. Aizawa was breathing with pride on the inside, but didn't let it show. He said, alright, let's go over how they solved it and continue. As he had class until lunchtime, and then Aizawa called Izuku and Pyro over, saying, did you bring the stuff? The whole staff wanted to try it. As Pyro then taps a big badge she had with her that was huge, saying, well, yes, and this is the only time. Got it. I'll make some for you and Izuku, but not everyone. With that, he nods. As they were talking with Aizawa, the rest of the class was bummed because they knew they couldn't talk to them right now. Now, we cut to the staff room. Now, basically, everyone, I think, will be there from canon except for All Might. So, who's there is Nezu, Recovery Girl, Lunch Rush, 13, Hound Dog, Mike, Midnight, Simitos, Snipe, Ectoplasm, Power and Vlad King. Aizawa walks in saying, you guys ready to try the food? With them nodding. As then he says, okay, meet the chef Pirate and my student Izuku. As they both walk in, with Midnight immediately running up and grabbing Izuku in a hug, saying, he hid the cinnamon roll away from me. They were saying, of course, I know you would break him. With Midnight saying, of course not. This is type that must be protected at all costs. As she sticks out her tongue. Meanwhile, Izuku was trying to gasp for air because he's being squeezed by two mighty mountains. As then Midnight releases and pulls away, saying sorry, with Izuku saying, no problem, I'm not a fan of that, but question, why do you guys want to die that way? It's just awful. Right, Miss Midnight? With Aizawa and Mike busting a gut laughing, and the rest of the people in the room either turning away shyly or just not responding to it. With Midnight saying, I'll tell you, Izuku, when you get old enough to come here, okay? But wait, how do you know about me? And then Izuku says, well, I'm a hero fanboy. I know everyone in this room and your quirks. Causing them to raise an eyebrow. But then when Izuku starts explaining everything, is shocked at all of them. You know stuff not even most hardcore fans know. This does impress them all. And he made inquiries on quirks. He also got his notebooks signed by everyone. Then they said, okay, this was all good and everything, but we're hungry. With all of them getting a meal from Pirate, they just said everyone takes a bite and goes crazy as usual. With the Midnight hugging Izuku saying, okay, she's his. With him saying, what? They're saying, if I get you, I get to have Pyre's delicious cooking, and I don't mind sharing him. As she winks to Pyre, causing her to blush. Then Lunch Rush bolted in front of Pyre down on one knee and saying to Pyre, this is the most amazing food I've ever had. Please marry me. As there's tears coming out of his eyes, with Pyre saying no. With him saying, I had to try, while hanging his head in defeat. The rest of the staff gave very positive feedback about the food. Now the meal was over and it was about time for class. Aizawa asked both Izuku and Pyre to wait outside for a minute before they head back with him to class. With that, the rest of the US staff that gave Aizawa a death glare, then saying, you get to eat that every day, you lucky bastard. With him chuckling saying, I know. As we cut to them walking back to class, when we get back, Aizawa opens the door and everyone gets into their attention position. As Pyre and Izuku went to sit down at their desk. As then he announced, okay, we're having a quirk test. All of you versus Izuku and Pyre. As he then smiles with everyone but except Izuku and Pyre being shocked. As then Izuku and Pyre simply just raise their hands, saying, so you want us to use those moves? Right? He then nods yes, with them just sighing themselves and even saying, really, what happened to only when necessary? Then when the shock wore off, one of the girls screamed out, you want us to fight a 4-year-old? That's insane. And then one of the guys screamed out, saying, I would never hit a woman, especially a woman like Pyra. Just said Izuku and Pyra just stood up and started walking to the field, with Aizawa saying, that's what I want. No talking back, and going. And they only asked one question at most. Now the rest of you get in gym uniforms because it's time to learn a lesson. We then cut to Izuku and Pyra as they talk, saying, really, you just learned some amazing power moves from Endeavor, even some of his own. But we did put our own spin on them, though. Izuku saying, yeah, and we've been working on our bond training with each other, other moves we can work with each other, and strategies. So I think Aizawa really just wants to see how far we've come already. But I know we should come up with a plan while we wait. But I already know what I want to do. As he then explains his plan to Pyra, then said, what do you think about it? Pyra saying only one change to this plan. We do the ether burst, but you drink this potion, okay? She tossed him one. With him nodding his head, then saying, oh, this is one of the more stronger ones, right? She nods her head back to him. Now we cut to the field where they're waiting with Aizawa, as the rest of the students all come out. Many of the girls really not liking the idea of fighting a 4-year-old, while the guys don't really seem to care about it, but they don't want to fight Pyra, and the girls even admitting themselves they wouldn't want to hurt Pyra because she has such beauty and everything in her looks. As then Aizawa says, okay, you begin the fight once you're all in position, and I say go. That everyone gets in their position as the word go is screamed out. Now, most of the close range fighters, which is sadly half of this class, just immediately bolt towards Izuku thinking he's the weakest. Just then Pyra links with Izuku. He then gathered all the ether in his body, expelling it outward at them, as he then says ether burst, and he knocked all the close range fires out in one move. Then in one move. Taking a quick moment, he then drank the potion really quick as it restored everything he just lost. Then he darted out from that position he was at, taking out Pyra's blade as he quickly started darting around the area, smacking people out while firing flames. He was also dodging and weaving around the area as well. Now with Pyra, she had already started out dodging and firing back with her flame, and occasionally making a shield when she couldn't dodge it in time. But she noticed the link between Izuku and her was getting weaker as they got farther away, which is something they've only recently discovered. But they have their plan. They're getting the mid to range quirk users into a bigger group, hurting them into it. And basically, they're completely unknown that that's what they're doing right now. As when they finally all come together and they bump into each other, they finally realize what the two had done. Just then, Pyra and Izuku quickly come together as Pyra and Izuku share the hilt of the sword. As Izuku then turns the heated flames coming out of the blade into a pulsating, flaming fountain of fire. They both say, full power, prominence, hell, burning slash. As then they slash downward, causing a massive explosion of fire to erupt, completely wrecking the field, leaving a massive burning crater. To many, it would be some miracle that everyone was still okay with only small burns. But then it was revealed that Pyre had made a shield to help weaken the burst power, so the impact would actually be more around the area than on the students. With both of them smiling that they had won, Zawa then starts clapping, saying, "Good jobs, you guys really have gotten stronger and better." But I also think Recover Girl's gonna kill me though, with him looking at the devastation and seeing everyone injured to some degree. Just then Izuku just chimes in saying, "No, she won't." He pulls out a potion saying, "Sprinkle a little bit of this on everybody, and they'll be good." Zawa does this, and everyone heals up. Now, when they finally all get up, they then see the massive crater. They're all in shock and awe at the firepower with both Izuku and Pyre shown, including their speed and strength. They then rush up to both Izuku and Pyre and start asking questions about their quirks. They then tell them the ones they were told to say by Nezu and Aizawa, with many of them just saying how amazing and powerful they are. And then all of them then just decide to point out Izuku's really strong for his age. With Aizawa just walking up to his class saying, "Of course he is, or why would I and even endeavor train Izuku?" They then scream out loud, "What? You had the number two hero train you?" Izuku nodding, saying, "Yeah, and it was fun." Them saying this pretty bashfully. This causing all the girls to go, "He's too precious for this world," as they run up and give Izuku a group hug. The rest of them asking questions about Endeavor, especially some of his fanboys. Seeing this, Fire got angry for some reason. The voice in her head saying, "See, I told you he was a chick mat." With her saying, "Mithra, please shut it." Oh yeah, by the way, spoilers for like chapter 3 and chapter 4. So if you're not at that point yet, like you're at this point in the video, click off now. With her saying, "That's normally my response. You're really jealous. You should tell him how you're feeling right now, though. I wish I could meet him, but he's still a bit too weak for that after all. He still needs to be strong enough for Siren's power." She then sighs, "Oh well, we'll just take care of him. We'll just take care of him. Alright? We can't go back to the tree after waiting for such a long time." Pyre then thinking, "Why am I angry? I don't mind other girls liking Zuko, but for some reason, it feels like I'm losing him." They're sighing. Now, we get to the end of the day with both of them being tired and saying, "Aizawa, how do you deal with that every day?" With him saying, "You learn to deal with it." With them just sighing. All the forced questions they had to go through was annoying, and with Izuku, he was currently thinking, "All the girls and even Midnight forcibly hugged me all the time, called me a Seminole, it's too weird." As he then sighs, saying to Pyre, "I want to get home as soon as possible." They get into Zaya's car, and before they get going, he hands Izuku a new schedule. Izuku reads it. He's getting training on all days of the week when UA is in session and a little bit after school as well. And one day off and one day just to train with Aizawa only. Izuku saying, "Oh, so get one day off." With Aizawa saying, "Yes, you earned it after all. You need your rest too. So, start tomorrow as your day off. Deal with it as you please." With that, they get home. When they enter, they both say at the same time, "You use the bath first." And after 5 minutes of arguing, they come up with a compromise. They'll take one together. This made Izuku freak out, but he said yes because he wanted to have some alone time to talk with Pyre about today in particular. They are now in the bath, Pyre helping Izuku getting his back washed, with them asking, "So why am I Seminole?" Pyre saying, "It's because you're so cute and innocent looking, I think." With Izuku saying, "Oh, that's why?" Also, "Why were you mad earlier after the fight?" With Pyre saying, "I was not mad." With Izuku saying, "Yes, you were. I know you, Pyre, and you were mad." They're finally caving into it because she realized she couldn't get out of it. Then said, "It feels like I'm losing you with all these new people entering into your life. It seems like I'll just become a ghost that you don't even remember." Izuku then grabbing Pyre's hand and even turning to face her with all his might to do this, saying, "Pyre, you're the one that gave me power. You're the one that gave me confidence in myself. And over the almost past year I've known you and I've been with you, I honestly think I would be nothing without you. So, just put this simply, you're always on my mind and the first person I think about, okay? Because I truly love you and want to be able to spend time with you. So I'll always be there for you and never forget you." He gives her a smile. Just then Pyre says, "Thank you." Izuku then realizes his nose starts to bleed as he quickly turns away and tries to cover it. With Pyre then in a worried tone saying, "Are you alright? Is the heat of the bathroom causing this?" Nezuko saying, "It's okay, it just happened. Can we please finish up quickly?" But they do finish up quickly and eat dinner. Nezuko saying he's going to try to go to bed first, with Pyre nodding. Now, as she's doing the dishes, Mithra starts talking. Now, he really is a good kid, I think. Really does love you too much, Pyre. And hopefully, me too someday. With Pyre saying he will, but why are you talking to me all of a sudden? The past few months you've been quiet, even when I tried to talk to you personally, Mithra. They're saying it was because I wanted to watch how this new world worked. And our driver through your eyes first, since it seemed like the best idea at the time, since his power wasn't strong enough to use both of us. The Pyre then saying, "Okay, I understand." She gets down on the dishes. Now she does walk into her room, and since she's seen as a member of the family, she was given a room by Inko and Hisashi. Though honestly, Hisashi's still salty about the whole quirk thing with his son. But she goes and gets dressed, with Izuku walking in the bathroom, and he sees her as she's about to shut the door. He then asks Pyre, "Hey, I'm having trouble sleeping. Could you sleep with me again? It seemed to help last time." And she then says that's okay with her. Now we do cut to Izuku's room as he's falling asleep with Pyre, saying, "Okay, time for me to go to my own room." And when she's trying to get out of the bed, Mithra then says, "Wait, can I just see him with my own eyes for a little bit? After all, we do share this body." The Pyre saying, "But wouldn't that overload and possibly harm or kill him since he's still not ready for your power yet?" We're telling Pyre, "I could show up for about a minute right now, even in a sleeping state, without too much trouble. Plus, thanks to all the training he's been put through, I think he could use me very soon and my power, Pyre." She then says, "Alright." A blonde-haired girl, the one in the thumbnail, appears, taking over Pyre's body. She then strokes Izuku's hair, saying, "He really is cute. You know what they say about the cute ones? They turn really handsome later on." She then chuckles as she goes on to say, "As long as we're here, we'll make sure nothing happens to you, Izuku, and that you're safe beyond all costs one day. I hope I will get to know you really well soon." She then kisses him on the cheek and says, "Okay." As she's turning back to Pyre, she then says, "But we both call Olyer first." Then Pyre's coming back screaming in her head at Mithra, "Really? You had to say that." As she goes to her own room to go to bed. Now, we cut back to earlier in the day at Izuku's preschool with Katsuki. Wondering where Izuku was, it was not like him to be late, as the teacher walked into class saying everyone to get their seat. As in, all the girls in Katsuki were asking where Izuku is immediately. The teacher saying, "Oh, well, he will not be back to class until about 2 months have passed. So, to be honest, it'll be right after his birthday. So don't worry about it." As then Katsuki gets completely enraged, thinking, What has Izuku not told me and been hiding from me?" Just then she calmed down, saying to herself, "It's okay, there had to be a reason for all this. But I'm getting my answer tomorrow." We then cut to the Midoriya household as he's just woken up and Paris has made breakfast. As he walks in the kitchen, Inko then kisses him on the forehead real quick, saying, "Okay, I'll be back tonight. I have to go help our friend one more time today, but this is last day. I'll be home more often again soon, okay, Zuko?" Then he nods his head. She then heads out as he sat down to eat breakfast. As he gets done eating, the doorbell rings. Pyre then says, "Okay, I'll go get it." With Izuku finishing his tea and hearing what he did not want to hear ever in his life. With a young girl's voice he recognized saying, "Who the F are you? This is Izuku's house, and if you don't get out now, I'll blow you up." With tiny explosions being heard. With Izuku bolting up and running to the door saying, "Katsuki, why are you here?" With She then screams out, "Well, I want to know why you're going to be gone for 2 months, but more importantly, who is this tramp?" With Pyra then saying with a complete red tick in her face in anger, saying, "You know, I'm normally a very kind and generous person, but who are you to call me a tramp?" As the sparks are flying between the two. And then Izuku's side saying, "Great," to himself, saying, "Great, this is why I didn't want you guys ever to meet. Izuku then saying out loud, "Why don't you come in? We can give you some food," as he gestures towards the kitchen. As Katsuki walked in like an angry young, then he tells Pyra in his mind that he's so sorry she's like that. Pyra says it's alright, it's just that she should not say things like that. They both nod in agreement about it. We cut to the kitchen as Pyra gives Katsuki some food. And after she just takes one bite and starts devouring it, she gives a really happy smile. And it looks like to Izuku she's been tamed already. With Izuku just giving a simple smile, seeing her happy face, it making Katsuki blush. But when looking at Pyra, she then says, "Well, it's not bad." With Pyra thinking, "Oh, let's try this." She then pulls out a bag of sweets, saying, "This is yours if you say sorry for earlier." And I did make them, by the way. She then perked up like a dog. She then immediately said she was sorry, while being a little mad that Pyra did this. Still, then Pyra gave them to her, saying, "You are forgiven." She then sees Katsuki eating with a happy smile. Finally, when she gets done, she then says, "Alright, okay, Izuku, explain to me, who is this and what the hell's been going on with you?" Izuku finally then explains that Pyra's a new family member because of their situation, so she tried to keep her real identity a secret. He then explains what's been going on with his training for the past month. She's completely shocked, then saying, "Wait, you've been trained by Eraserhead, Endeavor, and now getting trained at UA. I mean, what the hell, Izuku? Why didn't you tell me? This is so awesome." Izuku's smiling and blushing, saying, "Well, I'm really sorry. I thought you'd be jealous or upset." So he's keeping to himself. Without putting her hand on his back, saying, "Oh, I'm very happy for you. Just wish you were much closer enough to me to tell me this." Izuku then saying, "We are closer, since you've been not only better mood, but treating everyone so much better. So it's alright, Katsuki. It's my fault." As he gives her a head pat with a smile, causing Katsuki to blush really, really hard. And then she just says, "It's okay, Izuku." They then talk for a while, and then they set up a day where they can go play and be friends again. Being next week on the same day, as then she leaves. It's now later in the afternoon. Then their phone rings. Pyra picking up, but Inko saying, "It's Pyra Izuku." Saying, "It's me, Pyra, Mom. It's me, Mom, Pyra." She recently started calling her that. It causes Inko to melt, saying to herself, "I love having a daughter-in-law." She then says, "You know the local grocery store near the house? Can you get me some stuff before I get home? It's important." Pyra wrote down a list and then said, "Hey, Izuku, you need to go to the store," with him saying, "Okay, I'll be down in a minute," as he quickly changes out of his PJs since he was taking the day off, so he didn't really want to change. He then run down to the front door and seeing Pyra getting on her shoes. Izuku always thinks when he sees her, she's always so pretty. They get to the store, and as they get everything on the list, they're walking up. Zuko turns to see this group of men, all in suits and ties. This beautiful young girl in the middle. She had pale white skin with icy blue eyes, dark gray hair, and it was at medium length with this white blue with blue stripes in it. And was wearing a white kimono with blue trimmed lining in it. Zuko just thinking she was so pretty like a princess. And then he sees above her some concrete is falling. Pyre also sees this and told Izuku to go and use that move now. Them darting for it as the men were not paying attention above them as he quickly gets in between all of them. Now the men do start trying to use their quirks, and then Izuku says, "Get out of the way or we all die," as he points his hand up with flame above him. They then look up, realize what's going on, quickly get out of the way. As then Izuku says, "Prominence multi-laser blast." Izuku then said, "Prominence multi-laser blast." His heart flame like lasers shot out, dicing the concrete into nothing. As he turns to say to her, "Are you alright?" The young girl saying, "Yes, she's completely fine." I'm saying that's good. Now Pyre walks up and saying, "Is anyone else hurt or injured?" There's all the men in the suits saying they're fine. As well as Zuko and Pyre say that's great. Now, some policemen had come up to this situation. Now, they gave Zuko a stern warning about using his quirk when he didn't have a license. But he then says, "Well, I'm a Razorhead student, so it's fine to do that in my opinion." With one of the policemen saying, "Please do not lie to us." With Zuko getting extremely mad, but then out of all coincidences, both Izawa and Endeavor are walking up, trying to figure out, saying, "Okay, what has happened?" Trying to figure it out. And then they finally see Izuku, and they just walk up to him saying, "Okay, what happened, Izuku?" He then explained what he did and what had happened, with them actually saying to him, "Good job. It seems we trained you really well and you're going to be a great hero." With this, the cops and the men in the suits are just shocked beyond belief. This kid's gotten trained by two pro heroes and one of them being the number two. They get police to drop the warning since he is their student. And when they finish up with the rest of the report, making sure everyone's okay and all the usual stuff, Pyre and Izuku try to start walking away, with the young girl stopping them, saying, "Thank you. May I know your name?" He then says it's Izuku Midori, with her responding, "My name is Yumi." Okay, if anyone knows what game I'm using that from, then I love you, and you love that series as much as me, hopefully. And that's it for this script. Now, to finish up at the very end, I will be back on Tuesday to do regular scheduling. And when I do release the 100 episode, I'm going to start using Patreon for what I think about why I want to use it, and I'll explain it then. So please like, comment, subscribe, support me on Patreon because I will be starting to use it as soon as I'm done with that script on whatever day I get done with it and post it. You guys have a wonderful day, and this is The Real Guardian signing off.